Inference Plus Story Short number 25, Series B. The final game of football in America was played on November 18th, 2083. It was a somber affair, quiet even though the stands were packed. When the final field goal was kicked, not a single cheer was heard, just the low snuffle of choked-back sobs. News cameras panned to images of bare-chested men painted in the colors of opposing teams, embracing, tears leaving streaks down their colorful faces as the once rival colors smeared together on their bellies in a final portrait of solidarity. No longer rivals, but brothers in their grief at the loss of the greatest game ever played. It was more than the end of an era. It was the obliteration of an entire way of life. The tragedy at the 2081 Super Bowl in Tampa had been the final straw in a decades-long escalation. The problem had begun in the late 1900s with the occasional incident of mass school violence. These events were, of course, unfortunate, but it would have been ludicrous to change an entire social structure because of a few delicate flowers. But the sheer number of deaths that year at the Super Bowl, 841 to be exact, including an exceedingly talented quarterback, demanded action. Initially, blame was placed on Middle Eastern extremist groups, but it wasn't long before those rumors were debunked. No, the entire plot had been a homegrown effort, domestic terrorism, American-born citizens killing their countrymen. Even worse, the weapons used had all been acquired well within the structures of the American legal system. The conspirators were apprehended quickly, but their motivations were enragingly vague and verged upon nonsensical. It was hypothesized that video games, profane song lyrics, or even microchip implants installed by the government had incited them, but it was impossible to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. The entire nation felt the absence of any catharsis, and a pall of generalized discomfort hung over the land. Something would have to be done. After exhaustive, if not always scientifically valid, research was conducted over the course of 3 weeks that March, the cause of the tragedy was determined and a solution was proposed. American football would be abolished. Specifically, it would be systematically phased out over the course of an 18-month period. The sport was too violent, too emotionally charged to continue. The problematic matter of the stadiums being uninsurable after so many enormous wrongful death suits didn't help either, nor did the players' astronomical salaries. The fiery protests in the streets when the news was announced did little to dissuade lawmakers, an irony enjoyed greatly by American soccer fans, who felt that their sport's rise to glory was long overdue. Finally, the world will have one definition for the word football. Petitions were signed. Members of Congress were barraged with constituent complaints. But ultimately, as influential as professional football was in the world of politics, other special interest groups wielded even greater power. And the plans for extinction proceeded as planned. But there was simply nothing else to be done. There was no other possible solution.